All right, guys. First order of business. We're trying to get 200 members on this channel. We got about 113. So if you're not a member of this channel, make sure you click the join button. If you can't find the join button, I put a link to the join button in the description box. Okay? Also, the nightly news with Ak Nation is back. However, that program airs on my other channel, Living Room Gangster TV. So make sure you subscribe to Living Room Gangster TV. That link is also in the description box. So you can join us as we go live during the afternoons. Also, there's a important piece of news that we have to get to concerning the Harlem beatdown and robbery of that Sistah, bite attack, everything outside of the Harlem liquor store. This is directly from NYPD Chief Rodney Harrison. Okay? He says this evening, Tyrone Cooper, who's the one who was in the red jacket, the red bubble coat, he was apprehended by New York PD 67th Precinct patrol officers in Brooklyn after responding to a domestic violence radio run. He was also wanted for the brutal assault of a 31-year-old female on January 18th outside of Harlem liquor store. So this brother, someone called the police, a woman called the police claiming that she was in a domestic violence situation. The police get there, and it's this brother. Okay? So this was not a tip. There was no tips given. Nobody called the tip line to give this brother's whereabouts. And how many of y'all remember when I told y'all he was shacking up with a woman? In one of the videos I did about this situation when it happened with the Harlem liquor store, I told y'all he was shacking up with a woman. Now, he's been apprehended. 22 years old. Not a kid. I was right about that too. Everybody was like, they kids. They like 16, 17 years old. No, these are not kids. Now, his buddies, they haven't been apprehended yet. But he's in custody, which is a good start so this sister can get justice, right? Now, his buddies are wanted, so we'll see what happens with them. I just find it very interesting that this brother was apprehended not by a tip from the community, but for beating another woman's behind and getting caught in the act. I want y'all to let that sink in. Huge story. Literally 1,000 videos. I watched at least 20, 30 videos on this Harlem situation just to see what people were saying. You know, every once in a while a story grips the consciousness of one Ak Nation, and I binge watched those stories. And that was one of the stories I binge watched. I was very, I wanted to see what all the, the big shots and some of the beginners. I like watching videos of YouTubers that are on the come up. People with like 200, 100 subscribers. I like watching them to see what their thoughts are too, as well as the bigger, more established YouTubers. So I watched a lot of videos on that. So the word was out. The word was out. The 1,000 videos on YouTube literally about this. The mainstream media didn't do anything as far as, mainstream. The local New York media did, but outside of the local New York media, it wasn't covered. But for the cops to catch these guys, this guy in the middle of another crime against the woman, lets you know why the defund the police and the no snitch thing is I don't know, it's just flawed, man. A guy gets killed in Minnesota by the cops, or some people say he died of a heart attack because he had enough fentanyl in the system to kill a horse. He dies in a procedure that's legal in Minnesota. So in Minnesota, the procedure they did it, they've done it 1,000 times. That procedure they did on George Floyd in Minnesota, they do every day to drug addicts and people experiencing excited delirium, which is something that, I'll give you an example, somebody off PCP, that super strength, that inability to understand and comprehend commands, heavy breathing, sweating, constant motion. Those situations when people are experiencing excited delirium when on drugs like fentanyl, benzos, PCP. The police in Minnesota, Minneapolis particularly, they use that technique all the time. And guess how many people have died from that technique? You guessed it. One. George Floyd. Now, because of that, New York defunded their police. They got rid of the 600-man plainclothes division. 600 officers out of work because a guy got killed in Minneapolis. They already got rid of bail at the beginning of last year, so there's no bail. You just get out the next day, no matter what you do. Literally, and this is not like hyperbolic. I'm not trying to like be sensational here, man. If you rob a bank in New York City, you'll get out the next day if you get caught. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I'm not trying to be, sensational. Literally, if you rob a bank in New York, you get out the next day. I'm not trying to literally not because a lot of people think that these liberal cities, when I talk about these liberal cities and the crime in these liberal cities, a lot of people think, oh, you're just exaggerating. You doing too much, cuz. Man, why you goofy, man? You goofy. Some 50-year-old dude. You goofy, man. Nah, it's not about being goofy. Literally, New York is a haven for criminals. If you are a criminal and you don't like the cold weather in Minneapolis, the next best place for you to go is New York, Atlanta, or Austin, Texas. If you are a criminal. I just want to let you guys know, because also Louisville, that's another place where if you're a criminal and you're not into the whole jail thing, you're not into the whole getting arrested thing, that's not your thing, you're not really into that, go to one of those cities. Those towns are soft on crime. Okay? Very soft on crime. And if you go to Atlanta, go to Buckhead. These are places where, literally, if you're a criminal, it's like a playland. It's like Disneyland for criminals. However, back to New York. New York. These guys got caught. This guy got caught in the act of beating up another woman. A sister who probably knew he was on the run, 9 times out of 10 knew he was on the run. He was wanted for biting that other sister's eyeball out at the liquor store in Harlem. But, you know, she ain't care. Then when he whooped her butt, guess what she did? She snitched. She called the cops. Because if you gonna harbor a fugitive, you're with it. That's snitching. A lot of times we convolute snitching and what's not snitching. Harboring a fugitive, if you're harboring a fugitive, you're committing a crime with that fugitive. You just like the getaway driver waiting outside when the guy's going inside to rob a bank. You just like the driver in a drive-by. You down with that crime. You part of that crime. So she was harboring a fugitive. Our friend, Mr. Cooper. And he decided, for whatever reason, to put hands on her. And she snitched. And the police came and caught him. So we're not talking about the streets gonna get him, some dudes gonna get him from the... No. The only people that's gonna come get these criminals are the people who's paid to do it. Very rarely you'll see somebody come avenge somebody in the streets. Somebody get their family and whatnot. Those things happen very rarely, considering how many assaults or violations happen in the streets of all these major U.S. cities. Most of the time, the people that's going to come get the criminals is the police. And y'all have defunded them and made it very unsafe for sisters. Made it very unsafe for children. And extremely hazardous for men. Nobody talks about how unsafe it is for men on the streets. How many men get killed on the streets every day and every week and every month in this country. Black men. So, fast forward to a few days ago. 2 blocks away from that liquor store in Harlem. 2 blocks away from that liquor store in Harlem. You have these teens. And here go the bubble coat again. The bubble coat again. Something about these bubble coats, man. They make dudes real disrespectful. These bubble coats make dudes real. It's the coats, right? It's the coat. If he take off that coat, he'll be a nice, charming, respectful young man. It's the coat. Anyway, this lady, 45-year-old mother of 3, and this is something that happens all the time if you live in these neighborhoods. There's up to 10 guys, young guys, outside of her house in the hallway, hanging out, smoking, talking loud, talking lewd, because you know how they talk. They talking about everything, everywhere their private parts been, all the things they want to do to people with their private parts. They talking about everything, everywhere their gun been. They talking about all the things they want to do to people with their gun. Loud, obnoxious, and they're right outside your door. This is very common. We've all been this kid. I was this kid hanging out with my friends in the hallway. We in the hallway listening to music. Back then we ain't had cell phones, but you have a little radio or a Walkman, back then, or we'd be out there rapping and trying to, freestyle or somebody make a beat with their chest, and or they're beating off their chest and using their vocals to make the beat, or just talking and being loud, smoking, drinking, and all that stuff. So I'm not going to beat these kids up for that, even though it's annoying and it's disrespectful to the people who live there. I too have done that before on numerous occasions. And as a kid, I understand these kids, they don't care. It's not that they don't know. They know it's annoying to the people who live there. They don't care. Now, if somebody was outside of their house doing this, and they was trying to sleep and they had to get up in the morning, or they had responsibilities, or they had kids that were trying to sleep, or babies that was waking up because of the noise, they would care. But these little teens, these 17, 18-year-old, 16, 15-year-old kids, they don't care about nothing. And yes, there's a lot of teens that are very nice, very, well-rounded, very conscious of, polite teens. It's just that, it's the projects. Single mothers, deadbeat dads, poverty, gangs, peer pressure, a lot of things going on there. So she comes out to tell one of the boys, to tell them, can they quiet down? And she gets on her phone after an argument, after the boy, basically tells her to F her, that, she's going to call the cops. Because these guys are outside of her house, talking loud, smoking weed, just being ridiculously intrusive. She's in her house, and it's like they're in her house. And if she wants to leave, think about even if you didn't hear these guys. I want you to understand, it's 8, 9, 10 hoodlums right outside your door. Like, if you look out, if you crack your door, they right there. Even if you didn't have to hear them. But now throw in the fact that you can hear them in your bedroom with the door closed and the TV up loud. So they get into it. She says she's gonna call the police. He slaps the he slapped fire out her toes. He slapped fire out of her toes. He slapped the hell out of her. Okay? He slapped her good. Like, I know that was the type of slap where, like, he could have told her, now get out there on the corner and get my money. And she would have did it. Because he slapped her, like, in that one split second, like, her brain waves had to be all confused. Like, he could have told her anything. He could have said quack like a duck, and she would have, because he slapped the hell out of her. Okay? And of course she fell down and all that, fell back. And two weeks and 2 blocks from the Harlem for the other incident, the liquor store. It's 2 blocks. After all them people got there out there and protested, and we won't stand for this. Protect black women. 2 blocks away. Okay, so now, so she gets her bearings. And she comes back at him and lunges at him. And he don't take her seriously. He knows she's not a threat. He laughing, giggling the whole time. She like came back and lunged at him. And he know that she's not like, this is a 45-year-old mother of three. He 18 teenage boy, all full of testosterone, young, dumb, and full of cum. It's a mismatch physically. She lunges at him, and he just laughing at her like whatever, pushes her away like, come on, please. And then she's on the phone, and she's like serious. She's calling the police now. And guess what happens? How many of y'all can guess what happened? Guess what happened? Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you support the channel via PayPal, via the Cash App, via the Super Chat. If you're watching this as a premiere, make sure you support the channel via the Super Chat. And make sure you join the channel. Get a channel membership. We're trying to get up to 200. We at 113, I think. What do you think happened? Yes, another one of the guys came from behind. One of the guys who was now standing behind this woman hit her clean on her jaw. Bink. And knocked her down on the ground. What else would have happened? Come on, man. Y'all slow. Y'all been a member of this channel for a long time. Y'all supposed to know instantly that one of the guys who was now standing behind her sucker punched her from behind. What else do you think would have happened? I mean, come on. Y'all gotta get quicker with this stuff, man. So one of the guys who was now standing behind her sucker punched her from behind. Now there's a whole bunch of little hoodlums in the hallway. Like 10 of them. This is not just Harlem. I think Harlem is getting a bad rap in one respect. That we're acting like it's only Harlem. Now, yes, Harlem is ground zero for this stuff. And it's some kind of evil vibe going on up there. Well, I'm not going to say some kind of evil vibe. It's niggas. Niggas being niggas up there. But two weeks since the protest and the marching and all that stuff for the Sistah who got beat up at the liquor store and robbed, and 2 blocks away from the liquor store where there was protests and rallies and it's not gonna happen no more, a bunch of men on megaphones jibber-jabbering about what they not gonna put up with no more, people just talking and yabba. The same thing, something similar happens 2 blocks away. Hit the like button, get in the comment section. Make sure you get your channel membership. We're trying to get up to 200, so help us out. Hit the like button if you haven't on the way out. Peace. I'm out.